Alright, welcome back to Rise of the Tomb Raider. It is officially next time. So, the train yard. Which way am I meant to be going? I'm meant to be going that way, right, so it is a good idea to explore down here first. Bunch of trains, and there's some decent stuff to find.
Rosary. These beads have been worn away, almost to nothing.
They don't look that worn, is the thing. Like, that looks like a... well, the wood's a bit worn down, but otherwise that looks like a brand new thing.
Getting in that way without being seen. Must be another way.
Must be another way as the camera pans to the other way. Hey, treasure map. Doesn't reveal everything, but it reveals some stuff. Right, now I need to actually remember which way I'm going here. Think. Because you can't get back up there, at least not until you find a fast travel point. Conspicuous valve over here that isn't relevant. Because, like, my instinct is that we should be able to drop down and climb across there. Okay, back over the thing. Oh, there's a zip line. Of course there is. Very long zip line.
Don't shoot. I'm not your enemy.
Bit too late for that.
Who are you people?
All that can come later. If you want answers, then listen close. We've managed to destroy the old radio tower, but there are repeaters that keep them connected. We need to shut them down. Help me, and I'll let the others know they can trust you. We need all the allies we can get.
I'll keep an eye out for them.
Good. We don't have much time.
So, side quests. Another thing introduced into this game. We can find people scattered around the environment and they can give us quests. If we complete the quest, we get equipment. In this case, the lockpick. Lockpick, this...
I've infiltrated the ranks of the enemy and learned that they come seeking the rich resources of the mountain. They appear to know nothing of the secret we protect. Those who build the Iron Road are themselves prisoners, slaves of the Red Army. Massive machines now use the Iron Road, bringing more slaves, food, and raw materials for construction of a small city. It is time for me to return to my people so we might plan our attack. If we can inflict heavy losses upon them before they reach the mountain, they may give up and turn back.
So this is presented as an optional mission, but it's really not. Like, the lockpick is just so incredibly useful. And there's a lot of stuff hidden behind it. It's also just a good excuse to explore the area. Although the really annoying thing about it is that you can't really tag your optional objectives.
Communication repeaters. Trinity must have missed all of these.
So you're just left kind of fumbling around the environment. Constantly backing in and checking your... So yeah, you're just constantly backing into your map, checking that you're orientated in the right direction. It's kind of tedious. I also don't think I can actually get to this tomb yet. But there's another treasure map. This one reveals much more. I think we need the ability to make a fire on command, which we don't yet have, so this tomb will have to wait. Right, where's the next repeater? Okay, it's behind us. Fortunately, the game is kind enough to actually give us a visual identifier of the repeaters in the form of those red and blue light towers. Problem is figuring out how to get up to them. It's just another way up to that one. It's over there. Apparently a bridge of some kind that goes over to it. Warning, maybe? A warning? With the challenge tomb icon next to it?
Need to get more information out of the prisoner. If Constantine has to do it himself, he's not going to be happy.
We'll step up the pressure, but he's clearly had some experience with interrogation techniques before.
We think he's the leader of the Remnant. He has to know about the divine source. Find his weakness. Get
Looks like
creative.
this was abandoned in a hurry. Did the Soviets find something down there?
Okay. Onwards to tomb time.
There's water down below. Sounds like a great volume.
Okay, maybe actually notice the climbing wall. And in we go.
That's got to be part of the works.
Blow open some doors. Yeah, we're not even in the actual tomb yet. Oh, hey, that actually didn't stop us from upgrading a weapon. Both those upgrades basically do the same thing.
The water's eroding everything. At this rate, there won't be much left in a few decades. It's a cistern.
One of the big showpiece tombs. I want to say this was in... I want to say this one was in a lot of the marketing for the game as kind of like the demo of, hey, like, we fixed challenge tombs, like, we remembered the game is called Tomb Raider and the tombs should actually be interesting. Also, it lets them show off the brand new wet Lara technology. You know. It took a long time, but, you know, by 2015, we had fully developed the technology to render a wet Lara Croft. At least the mainstream video game industry had. Certain other hobbyist animators, shall we say, had had wet Lara technology for many years.
Water markings on the wall. The levels change.
Yes, it's everyone's favourite, a water level puzzle. Although I do actually like this one. Because you're not changing the water level in the sense of... You're not changing the water level in the sense of it's going up and down and up and down. Every time you change the water level, it just creates a new dimension for... When you change the water level, it creates a new... stage for the actual puzzle at hand.
Okay. Should be able to swim through now.
So this is less of one big puzzle and more just a series of smaller interconnected puzzles. It's kind of like the three-step design method that Nintendo uses for a lot of its platformers. You know, you introduce a mechanic in a safe environment, and then you just iterate on and expand the mechanic until
This should be more than enough oil to light the passages below, but be careful transporting it. We have not perfected the refining process, and it is still volatile. You will know the man who supervises the construction. We all do. Without his knowledge of the Earth, none of us would have survived along the difficult journey. Do not linger, and if he asks for word of his wife and child, feign ignorance. He cannot accept that they perished during our exodus, and expects them to arrive any day. We need his genius, and I fear if he saw the truth, we might lose him entirely.
well, that gets us to level 2 Greek. The other thing about the tombs is they have important stuff in them, at least important for my purposes. Documents, relics, pertaining to the tombs themselves. Right, so we can't throw the canister up there. Can't throw the canister up there by itself. I can barely throw the canister in the first place. They haven't developed the technology to refine it, but they have developed infinitely spawning canister technology. It's very, very convenient, very appreciated. Off you go. Now we chase after it, grab it, and toss it up there.
Yes, it worked.
Build upon and refine your mechanics. That raises things up and we can actually get to the pedestal. Always worth doing a circuit around the pedestal when you get here. There's usually some resources, often some coins up here as well.
It's an ancient manuscript on the gifts of the earth.
So now resources that we can collect will glow using survival instincts.
My love, this letter is long overdue, but I have been hard at work. When you arrive, there will be a home for you here with all the comforts we have left behind. It is a huge task ahead of us, to design and supervise the construction necessary to provide fresh water to our people. But all my labor will be paid in full when I see you and our children's faces again. We will create a new world here, the equal of everything you left behind to follow me. It will not have been in vain, as long as you and I are together.
And we know from the other document we found that the wife and child did not follow him. Alright, now how the hell do we get out of here? Because the way we came in is now very underwater. Okay. You have a skill point to spend. And we now have level 2 skills. That, I think... that is the one. That basically means the longer we go without being detected in an encounter, the more XP we'll get. So stealth is already very favored in this game. Like you will have seen a couple of times now, the bonus you get for stealthing the entire way through an encounter. And that skill just makes it more apparent that no, the game wants you to be stealthing through these encounters. I mean, you're up against an army, and the one advantage, you know, as Solid Snake has taught us over the years, the one advantage that a singular person going up against an army has is stealth and the element of surprise. It only makes sense that you incentivize that. Hey, another relic.
A coin with an image of a city stamped in gold. And there's the prophet. This was likely an official coin of Katesh.
Having to find the exact spot that it wanted me to hold that at to actually get the extra information.
was persecuted, and so were his followers.
You can see there the resource glowing. Only slightly. It's much more pronounced when you get survival instincts, but there is that little yellow outline making it a bit easier to see now. A lot of the time, you know, it's not necessarily that useful. Stuff like mushrooms, obviously trees that you can get wood from. They're very obvious, but those rockside, those ore veins are much less obvious. Anyway, back to busting up some radio towers. I believe these are what are considered this game's challenges. So you remember last game we had a whole string of things. Hey, there's another cave. Explosives of any variety. Crack that open. Hey, bow part. Nice out of the way bow part as well. That knife. At this point, just trying to remember, like, can I even finish this quest with the parts that I've got?
Small, intricate clockwork toy, made of bits of scrap metal and other detritus, all from the gulag. Must have taken a long time to gather the parts.
I wish I could see this moving. Just to see what they came up with for, like, what this thing would actually, what the actual motion on this would have been. Yeah, you're seeing a lot of parts of this area that are locked off based on us lacking equipment. Grab some berries. Which is what has me trying to remember if I can even get to all 5 of those radio towers at this point. Or if it's just better, or if I'm just better off carrying on forward. Which I think is what we're going to do. Or I can suddenly find a way up into the area. Hey, I'm 90% sure I wasn't meant to be able to do that jump, but never mind. Trying to get on top here so I can get these eggs. It's from another radio tower, that's 3. There's also some really miserable wolves howling over there. Ending up thinking, where is this tomb? That's the other thing about tombs from my point of view, which is
I hope you received my last tape in good time. I am becoming increasingly fond of recording these messages to you. Anna says that I need time away from my books and papers every so often, if only to remember why I'm doing all this. I know you hate me going away, but it will be worth it one day. It will all be worth it. Sending my love to you. Work hard in school.
I know your work was important, but it didn't feel like it at the time. Still, it taught me independence, how to look after myself. Important lessons, as it turns out. Trinity's after the source. I should find out what they know.
so that tomb. I want to say is up there somewhere. I don't know. I can come back for tombs. There's a lot more... Like I said, there's a lot more intended backtracking in this game than there was in the last one. You're just expected to be coming back to areas with new equipment. It's one of the things that makes the planning out the collectible roundups in this LP much more difficult. Just because, you know, I have to try and remember, like, how much more equipment do I need before I can actually come back and have everything. I don't think there's anything major down here, but I also want to be sure. Well, my current thought for collectible roundups is just completely leaving them until the end. Like, once I'm absolutely sure.
This writing seems to be pointing to something nearby.
Pops the coin caches around the area. Oh.
What's the word on the local guys we picked up outside the valley?
Said they were hired by 2 people, one of them a young British woman. But they left them in the mountains before the avalanche.
Huh. Sounds like Constantine's Fannin. Whoever brings her in is gonna be rich.
They get the radio tower repaired?
Not yet. I don't think any of the techs thought they'd be repairing a 50-year-old comm link.
Well, they better figure it out.
Okay, you finished your conversation. Now one of you start wandering around.
Wearing Soviet uniforms. Yeah, I heard.
You lucked out with this one. I've been doing that.
Heads up. I saw something.
No, you didn't. Thank you for walking behind that wall where your buddy couldn't see you. No reason to continue using more ammo when I can just smack him about the head with climbing axe.
More Soviet propaganda.
Isn't the whole point of propaganda that it can be seen, like, by a lot of people? Doesn't really seem to be much point in putting propaganda on the side of a base that's halfway up a mountain. Anyway, we can do more weapon upgrades. And welcome to the shop.
I'm on your side here. I've been working as a maintenance tech for Trinity out here, but I've got to get out of here. These people are insane. I've been stockpiling gear. It's yours, if you can pay for it. They won't notice a few missing items, but if they catch wind, or if they see me with you, I'm a dead man. I'll need some untraceable currency in case things go south. Gold, preferably. You think we can make a deal?
I'll see what I can dig up.
Rifle and shotgun, but the one I really want is the rope ascender. Because that just makes getting around way easier.
It's not nukes. Creepy looking guy with a scarred face named Constantine gave us a big speech, talked about destiny and something called the Source. And frankly, I'm even more baffled. The other contractors seem to be just as antsy and nervous as I am. But the company men, the guys who've been with Trinity for a long time, they're drinking it up and asking for seconds. It's fucking Jonestown out here. We're preparing for an assault. Against who, you might ask? I mean, there's people here, like natives, lost in time. We're talking furs, skins, and iron arrowheads. We're about to go meet them with attack choppers and 50 cal machine guns. I'm on the wrong goddamn side of history.
So yeah, that contractor that we found a document for earlier is this guy, our shopkeeper. Now, the way forward is climbing that and ziplining down into that prison. But we'll get on that next time.